Hi, my name is Kristen and my practice is Well Balanced. And my tagline is "The issues lie in the tissues" on my website and on my YouTube channel. I'll talk about that a lot. So our issues lie in our tissues, and I had a really interesting case a while back that I was just thinking of the other day, and how profoundly this was, that this man's issues from his past trauma that he had experienced actually were coming out of his body. And if you watch any of my videos, that's basically how I help people navigate their healing, is through releasing past traumas and coming into a place of clarity. So it was really interesting because all I knew about this man was he had just had back surgery about 6 months earlier. And he had called me and wanted a session to release his back. So I told him all about the fascial stretch therapy and how it really does release emotion and trauma that is stuck in our bodies. And he said, okay, he kind of just said, I'm up for anything. And I said, okay, well, I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up that you might feel, some emotions coming out, or a couple days of downness after this therapy. It's quite common. And he said, that's fine. And so all I knew about him was he used to be a police officer. That's all I knew. And he's been retired for a while. So, okay. And, really, I was coming there for back surgery. So it was really interesting because I started to work on him, and I immediately started to hear audibly and see visions of, and excuse me if this is graphic, but murdered people, hurt children, screaming women, families who were dead. Like I kept seeing this through the visions. I'm an intuitive healer. And so finally I had to stop, and I just held his hand and I said, did you witness a bunch of horrific situations when you were working as a police officer? And he said, more than I ever want to talk about. It was horrendous. I said, okay, because what I'm seeing is, and I told him, I'm seeing and hearing and seeing death and hearing screaming and seeing trauma and seeing children suffering and all this stuff. And he said, yes. He goes, I saw all that. I said, okay, so I want you to know you have been walking around with this trauma in your life. And I don't know if really that's what caused your back issue, amongst other things that are going on in your life. But I do believe that our issues lie in our tissues, and that if you can handle this, and we can work together for a series of sessions with the intention to release your body from the trauma, you will walk in a place of wholeness again. You will walk in a place of brightness and of not so loaded down. So see, when we have past trauma, it literally clouds us, and it drags us down, and it causes illnesses in our body. It can cause cancer, back problems, neck problems, hip problems, knee problems, any kind of problem like that is associated with past traumas can be helped with this therapy that I do. So that was super interesting. So it was really kind of hard on him the next week, because he literally felt like he had the flu, which is common if you have a lot of trauma or a lot of toxins in your body. He was really down, which again, I told him, do not write a story about it. Actually, it's a good thing. So just drink lots of water and allow these emotions to pass through. It might be a great time to contact your counselor or anything like that. And so he was just like, wow, this is powerful. So we talked about it a lot. And so I really haven't seen him again because sometimes for people that's a little scary to feel the feelings again, or even just stir up that little beehive. But when people are ready, they're like troopers. They will come in and be like, I am done with this. And they will walk through very strongly through these treatments because they are so tired of the trauma reliving in their body. So that's one instance. Another instance that I thought was really interesting is I was working on this client, and I kept hearing the word devastating and destructive and all these. So sometimes I'll hear audible words. And so I finally had to stop, and I said, there's something happened with a man in your life that was devastating. It was almost like the word, I can't even think the word right now, but it was almost like destroyed, and that type of word. So I said, there's something super devastating that happened to a man in your life, and it was very traumatic for you. And she said, my brother was murdered. And I said, okay, all right. And she said, and it was very traumatic. And then so were some other issues in her life that came through the fascial tissue. And I said, okay, so you don't need to relive that trauma. We're not here to relive it. To if you want to talk about it, I am here for you. But if you just want to notice the feelings and the sensations that are coming out, honor them, release them, let them go, talk about them if you want. And so she did actually talk about it for a while and some other traumas that happened in her life, and it was very therapeutic to her. By the time she left, after the Reiki and everything, she was hugging me like nobody's business and saying, thank you, God. She has, for the first time, felt a little bit of wholeness in her life. Well, I should say a lot of wholeness in her life. And so she is continuing to work with me as well on just clearing out her issues. But she didn't realize that all these past wounds were literally recreating themselves in her life with her choices of her men that she had chosen, with her careers that she has chosen, and different things like that, which is very common. We constantly recreate the past because that's all our body knows, is that type of trauma. So that was super powerful for her and super empowering, that she could walk in a newness and even feel a sense of hope was beautiful.